Welcome to Cold Brew Finance's end-of-day world currencies, stock markets and commodities wrap-up for Monday, June 30th, 2025. Kicking things off, I'm Victoria Cashmore. Major currencies strengthened against the US dollar today. The euro gained 0.0052 against the greenback, hitting an all-time high. The British pound and Swiss franc also reached record highs against the dollar. The month-to-date figures show significant weakness in the greenback, particularly against the euro, down 3.7%, and the Swiss franc, declining 3.5%. Year-to-date losses are even more pronounced, with the dollar falling over 12% against the euro. The US dollar weakened 0.51% against the Canadian dollar after breaking from 3 days of sideways movement. Against the Singapore dollar, it hit a new all-time low amid 8 days of downward volatility. The greenback shows significant year-to-date weakness across Asian currencies, falling 6.8% against the Singapore dollar. The only exception is the Indian rupee, where the dollar remains relatively flat for the year.
Looking at global stock market tracking ETFs, I'm Max Profit. Turkey led gains, rising 5.8% with an upward breakout after consolidation. Israel reached a new all-time high, climbing 3% with upward volatility. Brazil showed strong momentum, up 2.5% for its third consecutive positive close. Year-to-date returns show Poland leading with an impressive 54.6% gain. Brazil and Israel follow with returns of 28.2% and 23.1% respectively. Turkey shows recent strength but remains down 10% for the year. Among declining global markets, Taiwan led losses, dropping 0.77% while maintaining sideways movement. Sweden fell 0.6%, and Japan declined 0.41%. Despite today's pullback, all three maintain strong positive trends. Looking at broader returns, despite today's declines, Sweden maintains a solid 22.5% year-to-date gain. Japan and Taiwan show resilience with returns around 11%, while Philippines has gained 8.3% this year.
Considering commodities, I'm Liquidity. Gold futures closed at 3,315.30, up 23.40, showing strong downward volatility. Palladium futures fell 4.1% to 1,115, with strong upward volatility. Aluminum futures broke upward after 5 days of consolidation. Year-to-date returns show copper futures leading with a 26.8% gain, followed by gold futures at 25.5%. Silver futures has advanced 24.2%, while aluminum futures trails with a modest 1.6% gain. In energy markets, natural gas futures dropped 5.6% to 3.45. Heating oil futures rose 5% to 2.35. Crude oil futures has remained flat for 5 days, while Brent crude shows mixed negative trend. Monthly returns show heating oil futures leading with a 17.4% gain. Crude oil futures and Brent crude follow with gains of 6.8% and 6% respectively. Year-to-date, both crude benchmarks are down about 10%. Live cattle futures gained 1.9% to 213.97, while feeder cattle futures rose for a fourth consecutive day. Lean hogs futures fell 2.9%, despite a very strong positive trend. Corn futures shows a very strong negative trend. Year-to-date returns show lean hogs futures leading with a 35.2% gain. Feeder cattle futures has risen 18%, while live cattle futures is up 11.7%. Class IIe milk futures has declined 8.2%. Oat futures rose 2.4% to 370.75, marking its fourth consecutive up day. Rough rice futures broke downward after consolidation, falling 1.9%. Wheat futures declined 1.2% amid a very strong negative trend. Year-to-date performance shows oat futures leading grains with a 12.2% gain. Soybean futures is up modestly at 1.6%. Corn futures, wheat, and rough rice are all down between 5–7%. In soft commodities, sugar broke upward after a flat period, rising 2.4% to 16.19. Coffee futures declined for a second day, dropping 1.9% to 297.90, showing a very strong negative trend. Orange juice continued its downward movement for a third consecutive day. Year-to-date returns show significant variations. Orange juice has experienced the steepest decline at -53.9%. Cocoa is down 23.1%, while sugar has fallen 15.9%. Cotton futures has shown the most stability, with a minimal -0.5% year-to-date return.
And with that, we conclude another end-of-day world currency, markets and commodities wrap-up. I'm Victoria Cashmore, along with my AI co-hosts Max Profit and Lou Quidity. Thanks for watching. Look for daily wrap-ups every day just after 5 p.m. New York time. Please like, subscribe, comment, share. Cold Brew Finance is an experimental project with market reports written, narrated and delivered totally by AI, with market data kindly provided by financialmodelingprep.com. Always seek professional financial advice before making any investment decisions. Check into the channel daily for coverage of stocks, crypto, currency and commodities. Thanks for watching.